out of tired stupidity or possibly early onset dementia, I went to town and, feeling that I missed my old broken truck battery, I went for the same place I got it and got two of its brethren. This time two 180 amp hour batteries that have clearly been in the same system, which have been run low on water, so they are just below the minimum line on all cells, and you can see the exposed plates at the top, which isn't pretty. I even paid a small amount of money for these, which I kind of regret doing, but there's a big good chance this will make a decent recovery because they look good otherwise. Taking a look along the sides, like the other one, these have the cells oriented this way. They aren't deformed whatsoever, not anywhere. So I don't think they've been too badly mistreated aside from the water shortage. But the water shortage can very well kill off a battery. And when I got them home they were stone dead. They had about 12.1 volts, well 12.15 volts each, but I've just hooked up a couple of chargers and they seem to be swallowing current quite well. This one's charging at maybe 5 amps or so, and the other one's charging at the full 6.5, 7 that my normal battery charger can do, and they're eating it up. And the reason I'm charging them before putting more water in them, which I haven't, so for dishwasher clean them off with, is you should never, as most of you probably know, never ever put water in an empty battery, because the plates expand when they get charged and you run a risk of overflowing your battery. And I wouldn't want that happening. I don't fancy having acid all over the place, even though I do have concrete floors. So I'm gonna let this charge. If we turn off the current, maybe 15 amps, we'll see what the voltage does. 13.8, about 20 amps going into it. Yeah, looks okay. Gonna have to follow up on these. Well, they've been charging now for about half an hour at maybe 20 amps in total, running off 2 chargers, and everything's looking surprisingly good. The voltage is 14.338, slowly climbing, and feeling around, they aren't getting warm anywhere. They are outgassing just as you'd expect. None of the cells seem to be boiling away much faster than any of the others. So, I was kind of pessimistic when I brought this home, but there could be a lot of hope for these guys. I really hope so. Well, the batteries have been charging for about 2 hours now, at around 20 amps. Had to adjust it a few times. Hey, hold on. Had to adjust it a few times, because the transformer in this thing gets pretty hot. But we're at 14.65 volts, gonna do a controlled overcharge. I added a bit of water, so they should be alright. But while they've been charging, I've been spending some time outside, digging around in this pile, which has just been a pile of rubble from when they did some when we tore out the wall in the basement, and the rubble from that wall ended up on top of a pile of crap that I was going to take to the dump. Hey, hörru! Låt den där vara. Hush! And I've collected some of the more interesting items which, well, have been lying around for about 2 years now underneath a pile of rubble, so thought we'd go through it. For starters, something that used to be a Christmas decoration, still shiny on one side. A little bit of cola. In the old style bottles, they don't make these anymore, haven't for quite some time. A complete Iowa stereo synthesizer tuner model TXZ92. I doubt it works anymore. Unknown I/O card with a Molex connector. I have no idea about what this is, and no idea where it came from. It might have been some Lenovo machine. It's got these weird USB-like connectors on the back, but I've never seen anything like this before. Some of you probably know what this is. Moving on. A boot. An entire boot. What used to be a speaker still has a voice coil. Card quite okay for brand there. Made in Japan. A World of Warcraft thing. I remember this one. It came with a house. Yeah. Has the code thingy on it. If it still works, go ahead and use it. I don't play WoW. Also random piece of plastic. Please go from mode stereo. CD entitled 1975. USB cord. Lampshade. Partial Enlight. What's that? 250 watt ATX power supply. PFC coil still installed. A pink cap. Used to be pink anyway. Probably used to be red. Oh, and one Panasonic 9 Ah battery. Don't think I'm going to try and save this one. And a bag of random things from some, I don't know what kind of show I went to quite a few years back. We've got a little... Oh, these are Finnish Marks II Euro converter rulers. There we have some Euro notes and coins. This is something from my bank. I have no idea about what this is. You can put your name in it. Okay. Pens. These things, I've got no idea. Euros. Okay. Oh, these used to be little basic rule books about the law in the EU that they gave out for free there in Swedish, but they are pretty cute. Can you still make out the text there? Yeah, kinda. These are kind of neat. Should have saved one. One pig with my bank's name on it. And then it's just more pens and metal clip thingies. Okay, I think that's most of it. SD-RAM. Don't think we're gonna make out the capacity of this one. I don't think it applies anymore either. Someone else's deodorant. The faceplate connector from a Sony car stereo. Half a computer stand on wheels, with one wheel included. Alright, gonna drop this now. Oh, and a pile of random crap. This is just garbage, really. So, they've been charging for about 3 hours now, and they're still drawing a healthy 20 amps. And well, it's getting kind of late in the day, so I'm just gonna go ahead and bring these inside now. Can't stay out here all night, can I? I'm gonna try and let them rest for maybe 10 minutes or so, and see what open circuit voltages we get over them. I'll disconnect the jumper cables, and just to get an idea of how much they've absorbed, a very, very rough idea. That one is probably not going to have charged quite as much, because there's quite a bit of voltage drop in this very terrible starter cable. As you can see, it ain't the greatest. So I'm expecting that thing to not be quite as full as that one, and hopefully they're not very full, either of them, because they were stone dead when I got them, and well, if they were full now, they'd be at about maybe 30 amp hours each, and that's not really what I want out of them. And there we go. On this side, down the stairs. Whew. I can tell you, everything else I own feels very light after carrying those two around. Whew. I think they weigh either 50 or 60 kilos apiece. And well, that's about as much as I do. Whew. That's this from inside. Okay, so the batteries have gotten to rest for about an hour now, while I've been assembling a battery charger with banana plugs instead of just a cable coming out, in a very tight condition, and that was quite the fight, but I won in the end. Also added some clear polarity markings, so let's see what voltages we got. 12.545, great, this one is not full, not by a long shot. 12.606. These batteries still have a long way to go before they're charged. Nice. So I'm just going to put them on each on a 7 amp charger overnight, set to 14.8 volts, and we'll see what happens when we get back to the morning. So I have just slept for about 16 hours, and these batteries have been charging meanwhile, and the current has started to drop. They've probably been charging at about 4 or 5 amps average during this time, so I should have put about a bit over 100 amp hours in them each in total. So let's check the voltages of them. I have checked the charge current of this one, and this was about 3.5 amps. Oh, that went well. 14.545544 volts. That's pretty good. .304. I'd wager that difference is because this charger has much higher output impedance than this one. Most probably due to all of this spaghetti on the output. It has about 2 meters of wire. Not very thick wire either. So I'm probably going to hook the fast charger up again, and do a proper controlled overcharge of them now. Although I am going to... No, I'm actually going to just take them off the chargers now and let them lie for a little while, maybe an hour, to see what open circuit voltage I get in them, and maybe I dare fill the water level up a bit more, since I didn't put it more than high enough to cover the play the last time I did it, and it should probably be a bit higher. They should at least be mostly charged by now. Oh, there we go, we've got new water in them. I let them rest while I was watering them, and they had an ACV of about 12.8, 12.9 volts when I was done with them. So they seem to be quite full. And after eating maybe 100 ampere, that's, well, pretty much what I'd expect. They are from 2007 after all. Anyway, now that they have the correct amount of water, not too much, not too little, I'm just going to leave them to overcharge for a while. I've got the timer set for 1 hour, and the charge is set for maybe 20-25 amps, thereabouts. And I've got a very big fan blowing at it to cool the transformer, just so that it doesn't get any hotter than it needs to. Although it does make reading the current meter kind of difficult. Oh well. We'll see what happens in the tower. Oh, and just to be safe, very good ventilation. So they've been charging for an hour now, and I just gave everything a good check over, and well, aside from the whole room smelling like a hot transformer, nothing's really happening. Batteries aren't getting warm at all, and they seem to be outgassing normally, so I think I'm just going to leave them for another hour. They're eating 25 amps very happily. So another hour has passed, and by now they're starting to get very slightly warm. Just a couple of degrees above the room temperature, so I think I'm going to take them off the charger. We should have gotten quite a bit of power in them now, and let them rest and see what open circuit voltage we get, and then maybe do some kind of load test on them. Maybe it's nothing. This is going to keep on dropping for quite some time. Might have to add some water into them. I don't know if you can hear that, but they are outgassing quite a bit. Oh well, that's what they're supposed to do. So they've been resting for maybe 2 hours now off the charger, and I must say the voltages are a bit lower than I would like to see. This could mean one of two things. Either these batteries are not yet fully charged, or they are in terrible condition. I'm of course hoping for the former, so I'm going to stick them on the small chargers again for another few hours. I've made a couple of modifications to my main charger, and this is how well my camera handles different light colours. Hang on, maybe I can set that manually. Nope, I can't. It's set to auto anyway. And I've added some proper connections to this one. And the output impedance of this charger with the old, very long, thin leads was about 0.3 of an ohm. And even when it's running through this cheap current meter, and this new connection is less than 0.1 ohm. So that's quite a considerable decrease, and it's going to perform a lot better, and these two are going to perform pretty much identically. So I'm going to let these charge. I've set them to 14.6 volts rather than 14.8 now. So with a bit of luck they'll be fully charged by tomorrow. Well, it's another sunny midweek morning here in Finland, and I just took these off the chargers maybe 10 minutes ago, and the open circuit voltages are looking a lot better by now. We've got 13.223, which doesn't seem to be dropping very fast at all, and 13204, which is dropping a bit faster. And we can see if I put it into 500,000 count mode. No, that's pretty stable. Looking good. So these have been charging for, well, pretty much 36 hours or so straight. And they started out at about 3 amps yesterday. I had these two meters hooked up in series with the chargers, and they were down to about 1.6 amps right when I took them off. And they've been outgassing happily. They sounded like boiling pots when they got down here. But I'm hoping they've had some time to actually absorb the charge now. The lower current when I got here got me very excited. So I'm going to go run some errands in town, and once we get back we're going to have to find out what the voltage is. I'm going to be very, very excited if it's over 12.7 or 8. So I'm back from town. It's been about 4 hours while I've been gone, during which I got my hands on this thing among others. So let's see what open circuit voltage we have. Come on, be something good. 12.9. That's pretty nice. This one's 12.86. Now those are OCVs I can be happy with. A lot better than the 12.77 or so the last time I charged them. So now I'm going to let them rest for just another while. Check back on them later tonight. And with a bit of luck it won't have dropped too much more. Okay, so while I've been doing other stuff, I've been load testing this battery at about 8.5 amps, and it's been going for about 6.5 hours now. So, and it's far from discharged yet. So this battery alone has more capacity than both of my old UPS batteries put together, which is pretty nice, although it does seem to have a fairly high internal resistance, because right from the get-go it dropped down to about 12.12 volts when I put my load on it, which is about 8.5 amps when the battery is full. So that's a bit of a concern, and also the self-discharge rate of these batteries seems to be quite high, to say the least. If I probe the other one, which has just been sitting for about a day and a half, it's at 12.55, which, since it's just a lead antimony battery, isn't too bad, but yeah, it should be higher for a healthy battery, and I'm quite concerned about that. But with a bit of luck, since this one seems to have so much capacity, well, some capacity, there's some hope left. Maybe a couple of cycles will do them good and get them back to health, but yeah, I'm skeptical. This could have been a bad deal. And I just came to check on this thing while actually coming in this room to do another thing, and I noticed that we are pretty much empty now. And I'm gonna unhook the load, because that's pretty unnecessary at this stage. Battery's stone dead. And it's been running for roughly 9 hours. And a rough estimation, I'd say the current average would be about 8.2 amps, which gives us about 77 amp hours or thereabout. Let's say 80 for the sake of fairness, because I'd say that's a bit more realistic. So that's quite a way short of 180, which this battery is supposed to be at. So I'm gonna have to try the other one tomorrow. We'll see about that. Oh well. Who knows, with a bit of luck a couple of cycles will bring it back to at least over 100, but I'm still skeptical. So I just came to put the other battery on a load test, and it's been sitting for maybe 3 days, and this is the open circuit voltage. Not looking good. Gonna do the load test anyway, and we'll see what capacity it has. I do not like the look of that. Oh well. And there we go. 9 hours for this one as well. For a pretty full discharge. So, better take this one off the load. See what voltage gonna do. Maybe if I check the open voltage of this one, which has been lying off the charger for a few hours, maybe 9 or 10, thereabout. So let's see. Could be worse. Now here's an experiment. Can you use 2 cheapo power supplies wired in series to charge your truck battery? They're probably gonna blow up, but I don't quite care. But they don't have very thick wires, so there could be enough voltage drop going on for it to actually work. That's a positive. That's a negative. Don't think that's going to work. So these 2 chargers are charging at about 7 amps apiece, and they're drawing 226 watts from the grid. And I just did some math for fun, and these 2 chargers, while charging this battery, are 77% efficient. And that just amazes me, because these things are almost 30 years old. I was expecting them to be closer to 60% than 80. Wow. And I just took that one off the charger. And I have to see how low the voltage drops on it. This really doesn't look good. The self-discharge rate on these batteries seems to be incredibly high. This was 12.7 or so the last time I checked it, which was maybe 20 hours ago. And we saw this one drop down to 12.5 something. No, that was that one. Oh dear. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these batteries. They seem to hold about 70 or 80 amp hours, which is, well, it's okay for the money I paid for them. It's not okay for the size. They're supposed to hold more than twice as much. But I have ordered some very cheap C-grade solar panels that might just be able to make use of these batteries in the near future. So we'll see about that. But for any kind of standby application, I don't know, these batteries are going to need a lot of float charge to keep them charged up at this self-discharge rate. Yeah. not too happy. Not too happy at all. Maybe I'll work with the solar cells. We'll see. At least they're big. That's what matters, right? Gotta have some big batteries in your house, else you're not a man. Cheers. Thanks for watching. Well, for